talk in the Transesophageal Echocardiogram series. This is probably the most important talk for fellows, and this is tips and techniques for acquiring basic TE images. So this is often the most difficult to learn because you need your hands on the probe. I would strongly recommend to fellows to try to go into the operating room and get your hands on a probe while the patient is undergoing open heart surgery. So before they stop the heart, you have an unlimited amount of time to try to obtain your images, and cardiac anesthesia are usually a great teaching resource as well. So just to review, we're going to talk about clocking and counterclocking. We're going to talk about advancing and withdrawing the probe. The degrees change our imaging plane, so even though we're at the same depth in terms of your probe, you can rotate your planes, and then antiflex and retroflex, as well as left and right knob. If you're in the upper esophagus, you're going to be seeing aortic structures, the ascending aorta, seeing a little bit of the aorta, the 0-degree views for your left atrial appendage. Mid-esophageals, we're going to obtain most of our images, and then we'll talk about transgastric and deep transgastric as well. So imaging hints. If you have something on this side of the screen, you'll need to advance your probe to image it better. If you have a structure over here and you want to image it better, so in the case that LV, you're going to be pulling back. Most of the time, if you want to image a left ventricular structure, a left-sided structure, you are going to counterclockwise. So in this case, we would pull, if we wanted to look at more at the LV, we would pull this back and we would counterclockwise. RV structures, you're going to clock, and so often small movements are helpful in these situations. So again, we're going to counterclock to get the LV in the center of the screen. So just remember, as fellows, the big knob is your best friend. Most fellows are not comfortable using the big knob. You're going to need to use this and then try to hold it in the position once you get the view that you need. If you're uncomfortable doing that or having difficulty with doing that and changing your degrees with the probe, you can lock the big knob in the position that you need it to be. So again, the big knob is your best friend. So I follow the same protocol every single time when I do my transesophageal echocardiogram. This is the way that I was taught at the University of Michigan. Exception to this is if the patient is unstable, we want to answer our question first. So if you're worried about their ability to handle sedation, so if this is a TE cardioversion, you want to get your left atrial appendage views first, just in case you have to stop the procedure due to the patient being unstable. So if the patient is stable, you're going to follow this protocol. Now this protocol works because it prevents us from having to constantly go up and down in terms of our degrees, and so we'll obtain a bunch of views, and then we'll already be at a certain degrees and acquire views at that degree. Also talk with your sonographer. Ask them before you pull the probe out, did I miss anything? It's awfully embarrassing to have to re-intubate the patient because you missed a critical portion of the exam. So standard protocol, we start with the 4-chamber views from the mid-esophagus. So hence, if you see the aorta here, you're in the upper esophagus and you'll need to advance a little bit. So we'll start by looking at the LV to look at the ejection fraction. So we're going to roll a little bit by counterclocking, and we're going to pull this back to get the LV in the center, and then we're going to get views at 0 degrees, 60 degrees. You can see that this is a dilated cardiomyopathy, global hypokinesis with a dilated annulus, a prior mitral valve ring repair, and this is a evaluation for a MitraClip procedure. So again, we're getting 0, 60 degrees, 90 degrees, these long axis views at 130 degrees, and you want to make sure that the cusps of the aortic valve are opening and closing in the center, so you might need to roll open this LV a little bit. After we obtain those views, then you're going to get your tricuspid with and without color. Oftentimes it's helpful to zoom in on this area before we obtain our views, and then we're going to be focusing on the mitral valve. So with the mitral valve, we're going to be obtaining views with and without color at 0 degrees, our bicommissional view at 45 to 60, 90 degrees, and then the LVOT long axis views at 130 degrees. So we can see here we're obtaining with and without color. We're making sure that our color box obtains the PISA. you are going to want to make sure that you obtain all of your PISA measurements. So again, in order to get our PISA, the equation is 2 pi r squared times the aliasing velocity, which is up here, divided by the peak mitral regurgitation velocity. So here we're obtaining our peak MR velocity at 420 or 4.2 meters per second. We can freeze this frame over here so that we can decide. It seems to be holding up a little bit, but you can freeze it so you can measure the PISA measurements. So in the bicommissural view, you can see that the MR jet is throughout the whole commissure. So again, this is between 45 and 60. Often these are the best views to obtain our 3D images. So we can do a 3D zoom on just the valve and obtain our surgeon's view. This is an older machine, an IE33, so our Hertz level is a little bit low. We get a little bit of starting and stopping here, but you can see the prior ring with the sutures all in place here. This patient did have some posterior leaflet left. In the surgeon's view, you put the aorta at the top so that you know that this is the anterior leaflet of the mitral valve, the posterior leaflet. Your left atrial appendage is off over here, which gives us A1, A2, A3, P1, P2, P3. When you're referring to a structural provider, this is considered lateral, medial, anterior, posterior. Okay? So anterior, posterior, lateral, medial, wherever your appendage is where you start counting A1. Here's the first segment of the anterior leaflet. So it starts at 1, 2, and 3. So again, with and without color at 90 degrees. And with and without color at 130 degrees, making sure we're opening up our LVOT and we're seeing the aortic valve open and close in the center. Oftentimes we can zoom in here and get the aortic valve with and without color. Now, to view the ascending aorta, it can be difficult. Again, in this prior view, the ascending aorta is over here. So we're going to need to pull out the probe. We're going to clock a little bit, use a little bit of back pressure on your big knob, and that's how you obtain these ascending aortic views. So this is often one of the more difficult views to obtain. When you're in the upper esophagus, this is uncomfortable for the patient. So as soon as I get this view, I re-advance my probe so that the patient is not coughing or being uncomfortable. You also want to recenter your aortic valve. You see I'm pushing back in here. You want to recenter your aortic valve before you start going down into your 60-degree view to get your short axis views of the aortic valve, tricuspid, and pulmonic valves. So once you get the aorta into the center, now you go down between 50 or 60 degrees to get the aorta centered in the center of the screen. So here we're going to get aortic valve with and without color, tricuspid valve with and without color with an RVSP, with continuous wave Doppler, and your pulmonic valve. Okay. Oftentimes with bicuspid valves, it's useful to get 70-degree views, and also it tends to be easier to visualize the pulmonic valve at 70 degrees as well. So again, aortic valve with and without color, tricuspid valve with and without color, obtaining an RVSP, and your pulmonic valve with and without color. Notice in this case that I had to go up to 87 degrees to kind of splay this out in terms of your RV. Now, your appendage lives over here past the aorta and the short axis views. It's often easiest to visualize the appendage at 60 degrees, okay? So if it structures over here, we need to pull out the probe, and we need to use your big knob to try to open up that appendage and roll a little bit towards the patient or in a counterclockwise fashion. So this is how we obtain our Watchman views. I try to obtain 0, 45, 90, and 135 in case the patient ever needs to further undergo Watchman. Then we have some sizing views. Oftentimes we use CT scans now to size the appendage, but back when we first started doing Watchmans, we were often using Transesophageal Echocardiograms. Once you are at your high views for your left atrial appendage at 135, go down to 110, and then you're going to roll all the way. You're going to see the aorta in your screen. You're going to roll past the aorta to get your bicapal views. So you're going to obtain these views with and without color. And you're going to want to turn down your Nyquist limit between 30 and 40 so that you're trying to decide if there's a PFO or an ASD. You can see a prominent Chiari network here. You can see the patient's body device through here for the superior vena cava, your inferior cava. Here's your main pulmonary artery. Your right upper pulmonary vein, if you were to continue to roll clockwise, that would open up your right upper pulmonary vein. Now, to get our gastric views, we are going to want to center the LV into the center of the screen, and we're going to slowly advance, making sure that we don't feel any pressure to get these transgastric views. Again, you're going to need to use your big knob to improve your contact and make sure that you're getting this. So 0 and 90, and once you're at 90, you want to visualize the right ventricle, which means that if we're at 90, we need to clock to get the right ventricular in view. You can get some really nice views of the tricuspid valve at 30 degrees. So if you're working on a tricuspid clip patient, I'd suggest just going to 30 degrees here, and this often gives us great views of the tricuspid valve. We can try to put X-plane through here as well. Now, to obtain the deep transgastric, we are going to go back to our transgastric views where we're seeing the short axis view of the LV, and we're going to slowly advance until you don't see the left ventricle anymore. Once you've advanced and you don't see the LV anymore, then you're going to retroflex all the way with the big knob, go the opposite direction for the small knob, and slowly pull back. And you might have to counterclock a little bit here to open up your LVOT. And so this takes a little bit of the deep transgastric has to be some knob Olympics where you're kind of holding it in place. And so this is where we're going to get our gradients across your aortic valve. You can see with this patient with a low ejection fraction, his LVOT VTI is low at 14, which indicates he has a low ejection fraction and significant mitral regurgitation, since a lot of blood is going back into his left atrium and not through his left ventricular outflow tract. Finally, you're going to roll 180 degrees. You're going to reduce the depth to 5 centimeters. I like to put X-plane through here, and I increase my beats to 12 to 15 beats, and then have the sonographer hit acquire, and we'll be able to visualize the entire aorta on the way out. Now, just remember that you cannot use pulse wave Doppler when you're using X-plane. And so if you need to look at the descending and ascending aorta and pulsing to look for flow reversal, diastolic flow reversal, you won't be able to do that in X-plane. So again, for your AI cases, don't use X-plane when viewing your aorta, or you'll have to take X-plane off to get your pulse images. So for our next talks, we're going to do separate talks involving how to use transesophageal echocardiogram for structural cases. So we'll have a separate talk on Watchman, on mitral clip, on tricuspid clip, perivalvular leak, ASD, VSD closures. So each of these kind of deserves its own separate talk on the use of transesophageal echocardiogram and how we're viewing the images. Thanks, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe below. Thank you.